Initially, minimum depth of the beam shall be calculated as per the ACI 31814 in the table 9.3.11, and these depths are for the non-pre-stressed beams. For the simply supported beam, this L is actually the clear length between the columns. Simply supported means L by 16. One end continuous is L by 18.5. Both end continuous is L by 21. And for the cantilever beams, you have to take the L by 8 weight. So in our case, uh, if we go to our model, so if we talk about this beam, so this beam is continuous at one end, but it is discontinuous other end. But if we talk about this beam, so both ends are continuous. So we will calculate for the both beams, and then we will take the conservative. So for the one end it is 18.5 and the other is 21. So in our case, the maximum length we will take, this is 19 and this is 20. So we will take 20 feet, right? So our center to center length, for example, center to center length is 20 feet, but the column size is 2 feet. So we have to subtract 2 feet in order to obtain the clear length of the beam. So the clear length in our beam is 18 feet. So we will calculate the minimum depth is 18.5 for the one end continuous. Let us multiply it with 12 to convert this into inches. So the minimum depth should be taken is 11.6, and similarly for the both end continuous, the minimum depth is 10.28571 inches, right? So there is different requirements. There is a strength requirements and there is serviceability requirements, strength checks and serviceability checks. So if you take the 12 inches depth of the beam, so it will satisfy the strength criteria of the code. But when you go towards checking the serviceability checks, mean deflections, so it will not satisfy the criteria as per the code. So in our case, we will take the beam size as, for example, the width is equal to 18 inches and the depth we will take is 24 inches. So our beam is 18 cross 24 inches. There is no limitation on the width of the beam, uh, but there is also another check on the beam's size for the SMRF. You have to also satisfy that. So for the beams for the special moment frame, there are some limitations on the beams, and there's dimensional limitations and there's longitudinal reinforcement limitations as well. It means that the for the dimensions, beams shall satisfy from A to through C. The first one is the clear span Ln shall be at least 4D. What does it mean? It means that, for example, the depth we have taken is 2 feet, right? So the clear length of the beam should be at least 4 times 2. So the length of the beam should be at least 8 feet to be used as a special moment, to be used in this special moment frame, right? So this is the first criteria. The next one is width W shall be at least the lesser of 0.3 h and 10 inches. BW should be, for example, our W is 18 inches. So the criteria says that it should be at least 0.3 into, or not like this, 0.3 into 24. So the width of the beam should be at least 7.2 inches, and we have taken the width as 18 inches. So this thing is also satisfied. And the next one is the projection of the beam width beyond the width of the supporting columns on each side shall not exceed the lesser of C2 and 0.75 C1. It means, for example, let me draw this in here. For example, this is our column, and this is the beam. We are seeing this in a plane. This is the column, and the beam in inserting in the column. The code says that this dimension from the each side on the each side of the beam, this length should not be greater than the length of the C1 or the length of the 0.75 length of the C2. So this requirement should not be greater than the C1. Means that if you have your size of the column is 36 by 36 and the beam is 18 inches, so on the each side the remaining portion is 9 inches, right? So this requirement should also be satisfied. The next one is the longitudinal reinforcement. The beam shall have at least two continuous bars at both top and both faces for the SMRF. And for the reinforcement should not be exceeds the rho value, which is the ratio, should not exceed 0.25. It means that uh, the width, our beam width is 18 inches and the depth is 24. So the maximum reinforcement of the beam should be on the either side, for example, in the bottom and the top of the beam. It is 0.0025 into 24 into 18 and into 12. So 12.96 inch square. So this is the maximum reinforcement you can provide in your beam. So these are the different limitations that should be satisfied for the beams to be used as a in this special moment frames. Let us go to the E tab, define section properties, frame section, add new property, concrete, and let us name it as B 18 cross 24. Select the material property for the beam you will take is, because we will take the FC prime for the slab and for the beams same, because they are costed simultaneously at the same time. So initially we will take as FC prime is 4000 psi and the depth is 24 and the width is 18. Let's go to the modifiers. For the beams it was 0.75, and for the reinforcement click on the M3 design only, which is the beam. The clear cover is 2.5 and we will leave it as a default. Click OK. Okay, now the beam is defined. The next is the walls. The minimum thickness of the wall shall be calculated as per the table given. This is the actually table. So the minimum thickness for the bearing walls, the minimum value should be 4 inches or greater of 4 inches, and L by 1 by 24, the lesser of the unsupported length and unsupported height. For example, the height of the building is 12 feet. So the 12 divided by 25, example 12 feet into 12 and divide this by 25. So 5.75 is coming from this equation, and 4 inches. So you have to take the greater of this. So you have to take 5 inches for the bearing. For the non-bearing walls, you have to divide this by 30 and 4 inches. For the exterior basement and foundations, the minimum thickness is given directly, which is 7.5. But we will take the retaining wall thickness as 12 inches and the lift wall thickness as again 12 inches. Because the minimum is 7.5, but we will take as a 12 inches, because if you are placing two layers of reinforcement, you cannot place two layers of reinforcement in 7 inches thickness of the wall. Let us go to the Etab and define the wall properties. Let us go to the wall sections, add new property, and write, for example, RW, which is the retaining wall 12 inches. The properties we have to specify it in here. If you have given the auto list, so it will select the section from the auto list. The wall property will be same as the column 5000 psi, and the modeling type is the shell thin. This is the shell thin and the shell thick, membrane and layered. We will talk about the differences in these. The modifiers you have to define in here, and we will write it down as 0.35. You will take as a grade, and the thickness is 12 inches. Click OK. Take the copy from this and write it down left wall, and all of these are the same, and click OK. Now these two walls has been defined. The next one is the slab for the structural system. The minimum thickness of the slab should be calculated as per the table given by the code, which is the 8.3.1.2. And what does the table says that for the minimum H, there are three criteria. The alpha FM, right, which is the defined in here is alpha FM is the average of the value of alpha F for the beams on edge of the panels, and alpha F shall be calculated in according with this section is defined as 8.10.2.7, which is the ln is the clear span, and b is the beta is the ratio of the clear span to the shorter to the long to the shorter direction of the slab. So you have to calculate the minimum thickness for the slab using these equations. But the question is that how do we calculate this? The alpha, because the alpha needs the thickness of the slab to calculate the stiffness of the slab and calculate the ratio from the stiffness of the beams into the stiffness of the slab, and then calculate the alpha. From the alpha you can calculate the value greater of this equation and 5 inches, and greater of this equation and 3.5 inches. So normally this equation is adopted in normally in design, and we will see that this equation is used normally for the two-way joist or waffle slab, because in which the thickness of the slab comes out to be very less, which is 3.5, and you will get 3 or 3.8, something like that. But for the flat plate systems and for the system with the beams, normally this equation is used, which have the alpha between 0.2 into 2. In between these two you have to use this equation. You can see for the calculation of alpha 1 and alpha 2 you need the ECB, which is the and IB for the which is the moment of inertia of the beam, and IS is the moment of inertia of the slab. If you do not have any thickness of the slab, how you can calculate the stiffness of the slab? So for this we have to assume the thickness of the slab, and then you have to recalculate all of these, and you will get at the end a thickness for the specified span. So there is an Excel sheet we will be using for the calculation of the slab. For example, we are using 4000 psi. We'll insert the data in the green. For example, the FC prime is 40, let us say, and we are using actually 60. Insert 60. The long span is 20, and the short span is 15. For example, let us take it 19, and the beam is 18 by 24, and we assume the minimum thickness, the initial thickness is 6. So it's calculated the values from the point 0.2 into 2 alpha or greater than 2. So you can see this equation is adopted. The minimum thickness for the slab is comes out to be 6.5. I will share this Excel sheet as well. So we will take the thickness for the slab is 6.5 inches as calculated as per the code. We will go to the define section properties, slab sections. We will add new property, name it as a slab 6.5 inches. Take the slab properties. FC prime is 4000, modeling type is shell thin, and the property, the design property, so you can select the slab, drop panels, ripped or waffles. It is a simple slab, and the thickness is 6.5. Click on OK. Now the slab has been defined. There's also some modeling criteria that the mathematical model of the physical structure shall include all the elements of the lateral force resisting system. The model shall also include the stiffness and strength elements, which are significant to, to the distribution of forces and shall represent the spatial distribution of the mass stiffness of the structure. In addition, the model shall comply with the following stiffness properties of the reinforced and so the stiffness properties of the reinforced concrete and masonry elements shall consider the effect of the crack section. So that's why we have used the stiffness modifiers. So this was the whole story for the module 4. If you have any questions, you can ask. वालेकुम अस्सलाम, सबर क्या दादा हो.